Boom! And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we want to welcome you all to the Hello LLC. If you don't know, Hello stands for Helping Entrepreneurs Leverage Leading Web3 Optimizations. And today, my friends, we are in the amazing Wisdom Wednesdays, which we have changed the title. Same conversation, just changed the title. And it is Brain Candy and Sweet Treats for the Soul. That's what we're going to be talking about today. And so buckle up, buttercups, because we're talking about the frequency of money. And a lot of us have this different generational curse, these ideas of what we think money is, how we think money is supposed to be spent. And we're going to demystify a lot of those conversations today and really just give us a fresh new start. And talking about, these and an energy and a frequency and a vibration. And really, yes, a brother, a dude is talking about all three of those things. And we encourage you guys to open your horizons up as well. And really, you already know what we're about to say. Open up the four most expensive things at that. A closed mind, a closed mouth, a closed heart, and a closed hand. And really, it takes for us to re-strategize and rethink how we're looking at these things. And so,
I have a question for you.
Yeah, love, talk to me.
So we've been together for 14 years.
Yep.
And if I would have started talking about energy and frequency the frequency of money when we first met, would you be here still?
Your ass would be by yourself.
That part, y'all. I'm just saying.
You would be by yourself.
That part.
Talk. And that's in all honesty. That was the state of mind that I was in earlier. Before we met, you opened up this genie box, right? Shall I say?
Genie in a bottle.
And really being able to have this amazing conversation in Metaverse with you and bringing the future to people's presence and really understanding that, we all have this different idea of how money is, right? We all, think we know about money, especially for myself. I grew up, with the money expectations. My father would always say, boy, you need to save some money, stack some money. You don't need to go here. You don't need to go there. You don't need to do this. And white man this, and they have this, and they have this, and they got all the money and this, that, and the other. And as me and Tara shared, you grow up on a planet with 14-foot aliens that dance all the time. And then you get dropped down on planet Earth with what we do. It's a completely different experience. And we all have that completely different experience, especially when it hits our front doorstep. My dad telling me about saving money and explaining to me, what he's doing is different than me actually having my own money and what I do with my money and how I choose to save, not save. And one of the things that he didn't share with me that I wish I would have known was really not just save your money for a rainy day, but also be able to invest, right, in things and understand that the banks are utilizing your money to do exactly what you should be doing. And they're not telling you the secrets. They're not telling you the tips and tricks. And so, that's one portion of it, but also, the law of attraction, the universal laws, the spiritual belief, and really, being in a relationship with you and I love, we've really, helped each other.
Let's call it spade a spade.
Yeah.
Crazy ass white girl.
Well, we both run things. We both run things, to the table, that each one of us did not know, right? And the perspective of things, of how we look at money, especially you being white, me being black, and understanding there's two different worlds, two different cultures of how we look at money, and not that one's wrong or right or vice versa, just the difference between the two, and really understanding how they play out. And finding
finding common ground in those, because sometimes beliefs are so far apart, but also finding what works, what does work in a holistic way, and finding out what works best. But that's why today, having the conversation around, money being the frequency of energy. And, a lot of times when you do have that conversation, I will tell you, I've had this conversation with people before, and they look at me like I got 18 heads, 17 eyeballs, and 5 ears. And it's just like, what are you talking about? And I don't think I want to talk to this, and I get it, because we used to have a friend We still do. We just, have, since we're digital nomads, we just don't, aren't in contact so much anymore. But we do have a friend who spoke about this when we first got together, and would have conversations, very intellectual conversations for hours on ends, with lots of information and lots of facts. It wasn't like just pulling, BS out of the air. And, I know that we would look at him like, you're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But we didn't, because in the same sense, though, you had a vibration feeling that it's just like that energy that you're like, there's just some truth to this. But it's so outside of the norm that I'm not sure I want to be outside the norm yet, because I'm comfy and cozy inside the norm. Inside the standard, as I call it, the American debt dream that we have been sold of: go to school, graduate high school, go to college, get, your college degree, and then find someone, get married, buy a house, buy your vehicles, have a family. And, that's, as we say, that's all that is debt that, people go into just to live this dream that we have been shared, with for many, many moons from different generations. And so it just comes down to the end of this, understanding that now, listening to our friend have these conversations, you and I having these conversations, getting into these other rooms, doing our own due diligence and our own research, and understanding and living that, actually walking the walk, not just talking the talk, understanding that there really is a frequency to everything in life. We were watching a TikTok last night, and, first, before I want to jump in that, I want to give a huge shout out to everybody, kind of that has been in the wake of Hurricane Helene, and now Hurricane Milton that's coming down the pipeline. David is born and raised from Houston, Texas. I spent nearly 25 years in Houston, Texas. We know hurricanes. We know it ain't no joke.
Nope.
And we know that there's lives that are going to be at risk, and we just send lots of love and healing and protection that way. And hopefully that it passes really quick, and there's no loss that can't be regained.
All of the stuff that will get damaged is, replaceable. Right?
Material things
at the end of the day, but your family, your friends, you cannot be replaced.
And I just thought about that when I saw Chef Andy pop up here. So it's good to see you, Chef Andy, sending lots of love your way as you hunker down for the storm. And we have a few other people that are a part of our community that are right in the storm path. So with that said, lots of love to those. But with that said, let's move on this conversation as we talk about, the frequency of money. First of all, I always break this down, because when I'm sharing this with people that are maybe not as I would say hip to the game, and doesn't make them in behind the game, but they're just, this is not the level of frequency that they're on talking, and they might not really believe in it. It's attaching concrete evidence to something that is hypothetical. When we attach concrete evidence to something that's hypothetical, it is more believable. It allows us to start at a certain starting point so we could start identifying truth or factual or infactual, unfactual, incorrect information that, you are using your own discernment. So first of all, let's understand what discernment is. Discernment is where women get this really, really well. Men have it as well. They just sometimes are not connected to it, so they don't always have it at play. But that's that gut instinct. That's that gut reaction. That's that little voice inside of our heads, inside of our gut, talking to us. That's our discernment. And, I hope and I wish and I pray that everybody who listens to anybody on social media, including us, you use your discernment. And if it's not for you, it's okay. Just keep moving on and go about your business. And it is for you, welcome on in. And we love having you. But I am a proponent of always making sure people use their discernment and they listen to their gut. And, this might be too far-fetched for someone, and that's okay. Doesn't make me wrong, doesn't make them wrong. It just, at the end of the day, the frequency and the vibration is not lining up. All right, concrete evidence. What is that, Tara? The concrete evidence that I always apply when I have this conversation is we start at the fact of how many of you have been into an emergency room or a hospital, or seen in the hospital when someone code blue, Code blue is when the heart monitor has went straight across. The heartbeat is no longer there. They are in code blue because what do they need? They need the cart, the energy cart, the power cart, the paddle cart, the cart that will have energy and frequency in it. And so the reason why I bring this in is because anybody who goes code blue, they're going to rush in with the cart. They're going to rub the paddles together to make sure that the energy is charged between the two paddles. Yep. And then they're going to yell clear, so nobody's touching the person that needs to be shocked. And they're going to shock that person, essentially put a shock electrical charge through their body in order to get their heartbeat beating again. What does that mean, Tara? Well, that means that we are frequency. Our body is a plus and a minus. It is a negative, a positive charge, and a negative charge. It means that we have to have positive ions and negative ions for our body to be able to work properly. If it's not, if we're out of balance, we're code blue. We are flatlined. We are dead. And so it's very important for people to understand that concrete evidence is what makes us frequency creatures. We are energy. We are a frequency of energy. So how many of you know that you've walked up to a fence, a hot wire fence? I grew up in the country as a small town farm girl. You walk up to a hot wire fence and you touch that hot wire fence and you become a conductor. You are now grabbed a hold of that. The energy is flowing through you. It zaps. And if you hold on, it's keep on zapping because you now made a line down to the ground, which is a grounding agent. And that is where at that point, you now are an energy conductor. You are frequency. And so we have to understand that where we vibrate, what we vibrate in, what is vibration? Vibration is, if we look at it from a musical point of view, it's notes, it's vibration, it's tone, it's tunes. That there, we are the same thing. It's all it is molecular structure of how fast the molecules energize. And in different frequencies and different tones and different music, those molecular structures gravitate or vibrate at different levels that create different noises. They create different entities. We really, if you look at a high-powered telescope, and this is documented, so you can go look at it, this is where science meets the quantum mechanics of understanding the frequency. If you look at a human or an organic tissue under a high-powered microscope, you can see that it is nothing but the vibration of molecules. That's it. And it's how fast they vibrate, and that vibration then makes up the entity of who you are or what you are. So that means like butter that's been sitting out at room temperature, it can be soft. And so when you cut right through butter, it's gone. It's super soft, and it's, you're able to get through the bottom of it or through the thick of it because its composition is being compromised by heat because the molecule structure and heat added to it, the warmth of the room or the day if it's setting out in the butter dish, is going to reduce the molecular structure vibration. So at the end of the day, you get cut through the butter. I'm sharing that with you because everything in this world has a different molecular vibration, and money is the same thing. Money is a line of frequency. It's a vibration. It's a line of vibration that meets a frequency. And so what that means is that if you are not in alignment, if you're not vibrating at the same frequency that money is, that might be why it is harder for money to show up in your life, and it feels like a struggle because of the vibrational energy and frequency of who you are being, and it does not create a welcome environment to match. They have to match. It's not like where you take one molecular structure to the other, and if there's no commonality, they won't match up and they won't partner up. And that is the same thing between energy, people's energy, and the frequency of money's energy. Now, again, if you missed what I shared, I went through the actual scientific scientific way and understanding that how we as humans are energy beings. We are flatlined, shock energy back into us so our heartbeat comes back online. We all know that. That is a medical thing that everybody knows. If someone goes flatline, is start doing chest compressions to get the heart beating again, or get them a defibrillator so we can shock them and bring them back into existence, essentially. That's because we're positive and negative ions and molecules that then create that vibration and that energy. So I share that because when I start having this conversation and I get down to where I'm talking about money and the frequency of money, people sometimes forget the actual foundation of energy and why we are foundational. Our energy is foundational. In this discovery, in this understanding, right? And so it's really coming down to the end of the day of understanding the quantum mechanics, and which is the role of vibrations in the quantum phenomenon. Now we have to understand what is quantum. Quantum is the science. It is a level of science, essentially. Quantum physics is where it's at. So it's a level of physics and understanding that. And that's really high level stuff. If nobody's ever discovered Dr. Joe Dispenza,
yes,
this is a huge thing for you guys right now. David and I discovered Dr. Joe Dispenza through Ed Milet. We watched Ed Milet and still do his YouTube religiously. He has great conversations with people, and Dr. Joe Dispenza was one of them. And I was actually watching that interview, and he was talking about quantum physics, and he was able to heal himself through the power of meditation, getting his vibration and his frequency in alignment to what the outcome was. And what do I mean by that is that he had a really bad horse accident, broke his back, and they basically said he was going to be paralyzed for the rest of his day, or rest of his days, and be or very limited motion in his lower half of his body. And so for the next 6-8 months, he did avid meditations and really worked on the seeing of his back being fixed, essentially. And he was able to take the vision of what he saw, a healthy back, and turn that into his reality because he focused his energy on it so much. If you do not know Dr. Joe, I suggest everybody to go check out Dr. Joe. Go out to even Ed Milet's YouTube channel, honestly, or better yet, jump into our Hello Pivot membership for $7 a month. We do have a whole section underneath that of vibration, frequency, and meditation, and understanding that root cause. And so you can do either one, but that is a great resource of how to explain what quantum mechanics are. And so as we move through this, you have to understand the quantum mechanics moves us into the consciousness and energy. And that's literally what I was just talking about with the molecular structure and the vibration of energy.
Say that 10 times.
Yeah, that part. And understanding how those things meet and work together if they're in alignment, which brings us into the law of attraction. Law of attraction is how energy and vibration and frequency is related to manifesting the desires that you want. A lot of times what happens as humans is we sit around and it is just programmed into humans, and this is why we have to reprogram ourselves, is that we will sit around and live in a world of the pessimistic side, of maybe not looking at the glass half empty instead of half full, and understanding that if we will change the way that we look at things and how we vibrate, so the energy that we maintain, meaning if you wake up every morning and you're super disgruntled and mean and grumpy because of the place that you work at or corporate America or whatever it is situation you're in, that is having a direct effect on not only yourself, anybody else around you, your loved ones, but also your pocketbook. It is directly affecting your money. It's directly affecting your goals. It's directly affecting your of opportunity because your vibration and frequency is not in alignment, and your law of attraction is way out of whack because you're so focused on the pessimistic side would be a great thing, right? Yeah. So really it comes down to then the universal laws of your, law of attraction and the spiritual beliefs and the metaphysical concepts. This is where Dr. Joe, because he is a metaphysical scientist, or a quantum physics scientist is a better way to say it. He definitely jumps into all of this at a molecular level of showing you how 1 + 1 = 2. And so I do not claim that I am that person. I don't try to be that person, but I do try to share this in a, as I say to myself, a dumbed down way so that I can understand it. I share that in layman terms that I can understand, that then it will help other people understand and maybe open the door to other people to think about what if. That's all that this conversation is to do, is bring up the conversation of what if what Hello LLC is sharing is accurate, is true. What if I go check out Dr. Joe?
Not even accurate, right? Because we all have our different experiences. This is to be able to open up, as the title of, our Wisdom Wednesday room is, brain candy and sweet treat for the soul, your mindset, and be able to new doors.
Yeah.
And so often we're stuck in this trauma, these dramas, these patterns, and these programs of how we've lived our life so long, not realizing that we're a prisoner of our own mind. And that, sometimes we understand the vibration is definitely part of that as we move forward.
Yeah, 100%. So that moves us into like the practical application. And this is where we have to understand, this is where I was talking about earlier. If you go, they're running in with the defibrillator on the cart, clear, so they can shock you. And this is where the practical application comes down the pipeline for, understanding how that frequency and the vibration levels affect your personal growth. They affect your healing. They affect your relationships. They affect your business success, whether you own a business or you are, work in a business. Your creativity, your abundance, all of these things are directly connected to who you are and the disposition that you are showing up every day. Just because someone shows up in a very grumpy manner every day, to be 100%, that just means that they have stuck energy and stuck trauma in their body that has not been not been processed is the word I was looking for, and you're not dealing with it. And it then shows up as a way of being. Someone might be constantly grumpy. They might be the old, the old man down the street that is always grumpy, yelling, "Get off my yard!"
On the nail.
Yeah, they're the hound dog laying on the nail. And that's because after so many days of you doing that, it becomes your way of life. It is your vibration. It is your frequency of vibration. And people don't understand that you have that choice to no longer be that way. You have a choice to look at things and say, you know what? That's cool. I see the lesson out of it. I'm going to take the lesson. I'm going to leave the drama behind and I'm going to move on. But we live in upset. We live in the pessimistic way of being. We live in those negative energies, which is why people are struggling to make ends meet, because they are not opened up to their law of attraction. They are not opened up to the good things that can come in this world, because they are so fixated on what's not working. And when you're fixated on what's not working, that means you're only exasperating it. Let me say it this way. A lot of times we understand there's a past, there's a present, and there's a future, right? And we can only use the past as past experiences of, I went through this, this is what happened to me. And because this is what happened to me, this is my experience out of it. Well, then if you move on to the present, that's where you're at right now. And a lot of times people don't realize that if they will just understand that when we're constantly looking into the past, that we are making the past our present. And when we make the past our present and then move the present into the future, you are creating your future by always living in the past. So if you live in the world of, well, I don't do this anymore because in the past this happened to me, or I don't do it like that, or I don't, talk to this person, or I don't do this or don't do that, or whatever it is, whatever way of life you're living because of past experiences, you are living in the present moment talking about the past. And past is trauma. That's unhealed, unprocessed trauma. Trauma is simply energetic vibrations in your body that have not been processed, because we as a society don't teach people how to process our traumas. We just tell the men in our society, the masculine in our society, to deal with it. Don't cry, don't talk to nobody, just deal with it. Just be a man up about it. And then on women, when they do cry about it, where we do be sensitive, we are in our emotions about it, we're like, oh, stop being a sissy la-la. Don't be a baby about things. Stop whining and boobing and crying about stuff and, just move on. We don't teach people that, hey, it's okay that happened. It's okay to feel sad or happy or upset about it. It's okay to feel those settings. But half the time what happens is because we don't nurture those constructive ways to process trauma, all of us just stuff that trauma down, and then we react a certain way. Something might happen in traffic, and somebody, makes you all of a sudden feel like you experienced something that happened to you 10 years ago. Maybe you got, you were in a traffic, incident, and somebody got so irate that they pulled a weapon on you. And then all of a sudden, 10 years later, you're driving and someone cuts you off and does the same kind of thing. And you have a flashback to trauma of when you went through the experience when someone pulled a weapon on you and threatened you. That trauma, if you don't process it and understand, okay, and when it happens again, or something kind of, gives you the sensation that it's going to happen again, realize, oh, I'm associating this with a past trauma. I've already done the work on that. It's going to be different this time. I don't need to have that association, so that won't be my future. I'm not carrying the past into the future. So really understanding at the end of the day, the frequency of money is a vibration. You are a vibration. Your dog, your cat, your car, your money, your food, everything is a vibration. And we have to understand from a molecular level, we are all one. We are all connected. That was the hardest thing for David and I to learn when we started our journey about 9 years ago, was that this right here, me doing this to my finger, let me move it down so you can see it. Me doing this affects everybody in the world. And you're like, how does this, you bending your finger like this, Tara, affect everybody in the world? Well, because we are all related and connected through frequency and energy. Just imagine the TikTok that I was going to share earlier, David and I were watching, and it was about a young lady who had a roommate, and this roommate just didn't have the great vibe. It was a real kind of negative energy, bad vibe. Asked this person to move out. They left, brought in a new roommate, and the new roommate came in, and in less than a month was like, I've got to leave, because the energy and the frequency and the vibration in this house, just the day I showed up, was that it's real negative. It's real bad. I don't want to live in this situation. And that, guys, you have to understand, is when we are in tune to our gut instinct, to listening to our body will tell us these things. We are highly connected and highly spiritual beings that understand things. But because we are so focused on the here and now and what material things I have and I don't have, and I need this and I need that, and, not looking at the world from a different point of view and retraining, rewiring your mind, which Dr. Joe talks about, is really crucial. It's taken David and I 9 years to be we were able to rewire our brain, but we constantly are working on our level of being able to rewire our mindset. And from there, it comes down to the simple fact of, what shows up in your life. You are manifesting everything that shows up in your life. If you stubbed your toe today, you manifested that. If you won $1 million today, you manifested that. What are you manifesting? Here's a funny thing. David and I, as you all know, are digital nomads. And probably for the past year or two, I've been like, man, I want to go back to Idaho for a month or two, just to see my family, hang out. Now that we don't have corporate positions and we have our own business, that would be great. So that's something I want to put on the radar to do, and then I just kept on, not so much openly talking about it to David, but anytime that I would think about, if David asked me, hey, if you were given $1 million right now, what would you do? And it always, the first thing was, go visit my family, go see my family. I haven't seen them in a few years. I miss them. I'd go see my family. Well, funny how this world works, because manifestation, all of a sudden this summer, here we are. We came to see the family. And so it's just funny how this world will work if you just put your oars in your boat and go with the flow. And what do I mean by that is, life is a river, and we have a choice in our little rowboat. We can either get the oars out and we can, paddle upstream, fighting the current, got 17 holes in your oars, 18 holes in your boat, and you're just not going anywhere. Or you can turn around, put your oars in a boat, kick your feet up, and go with the flow of life, and understand that some things happen for you and some things happen to teach you. But if you keep a positive mindset, a positive energy, positive vibration around these things, understanding that you're opening yourself to possibilities. And just because it looks like in your life that it's maybe a downfall, maybe, all of a sudden, you got kicked out of your house and you lost your car or something, and you look at it as a negative, like, oh man, I don't got no place to live, I don't got no car, I'm falling apart. And then less than 30 days later, all of a sudden these new opportunities show up. We have to trust in the fact that we want things. As humans, we naturally have a want for things. And that when we want things, we create that energy, that vibration, and that the universe, law of attraction, it's coming this way. And as long as you stay open, oars in the boat, going with the flow, it's going to come in. But it might not always come in the way that you want it to. And so sometimes we stand in the way of our blessings because we don't understand how they're going to show up. And when they show up, that our car and our house got taken away, but we don't realize that less than 30 days later, our life's going to be completely changed because we're going to hit the lottery for $100 million. Well, the universe was just rearranging things for you so you could live in abundance and do the things that you wanted to do, but you were open to that frequency. So with that said, let's park this little scooter and welcome all of our guests in. It's so good to see you, everybody who's live on TikTok with us, live in LinkedIn, live on Chatter, live in Clubhouse. We got Chef Andy up here. We got Mehmet. It's so good to see you. What you want to add in on this conversation, Chef Andy? I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're not blowing away. I hope you've anchored yourself down, my friend.
Thank you so much. Great conversation. I love the energy aspect of it because, yes, I'm safe. I'm in Bristol, Virginia, and my dear friends who I've known for a number of years now are always hospitable. And I just want to say I'm so happy to be here, so happy to be safe after seeing what's going on in Florida. And I'm praying for all those people, and I'm sending messages to reach out to as many people as possible that you can, either through the Red Cross or otherwise, to assist what's going on down there. This Milton is a Cat 3, was a Cat 3, but still there's tornadoes, there's lots of things going on. And even after Helena, it's just adds sort of insult to injury is the only thing the phrase that I could say now in terms of the land being saturated by the water. But please, just from time to time, think of these people. Just, again, put your vibration, put your energy, because thoughts are energy. We know that. And we're talking about energy. Thoughts are all energy through our physical body through the quantum mechanics, and also through our birth. We came into this world as a vibration. And then people believe we actually chose the parents that we came through because of their physical energy. Our energy itself gains in stature over time, but still, it's all included in a universal energy that we're all connected on very, very deep levels. I've been just reading a book by Dr. Tony Nader, who's at the moment at the helm of the TM Transcendental Meditation Society. He has 4 or 5 books. He's a physicist, and also with John Hagelin, who's a world acclaimed physicist. But his new book is Everything is Consciousness, and everything stems from consciousness. Everything stems from that underlying field of all possibilities of total silence, total awareness. And when we experience that, we experience the beginning of the vibrations. Now, back in the Vedas, which are the old ancient texts of India, you'll have chants, and the chants are from what's called the Gandharva Vedas, or the pundits. And many thousands of years ago, these pundits, they didn't have a spoken written word at all. They just had these sounds and tones that they sang from the ancient Vedas, which is thousands-year-old text. And all of those tones were vibrations. And every single moment of the day, whether it's the morning, mid-afternoon, the evening, late evening, all have its own vibrations in the world. So each time has a different vibration. Like sometimes we wake up early in the morning and we're having a certain vibration to do this and that, and sometimes the middle afternoon, sometimes a latter part of the day, and then also the evening. But every single bit of the time, the 24 hours, has its different vibration. And sometimes there are people who pick certain jobs, certain chores, certain things to do, whether it's write a book or cook or do whatever during a certain time of the day when the energy is right. Okay, so it's so important, in my opinion, and others will agree with me, I'm sure, that when we're low on energy, is to find a way to recharge our energy, however we find to do that. We recharge our batteries. It's like anything else. I had to put a new battery in my car a couple months back, and now it's running fine. But once that battery runs out, the same thing to our physical self and our mental self. We're overthinking. We're working so hard. We're looking at social media 24/7. Our thoughts are always out there. But we need to go inward to contact that infinite source of all possibilities, like Dr. Joe Dispenza says, which I also listen to his tapes, also Ed Milet and Jay Shetty. These are 3 of the people that really, besides others, that really lift me up when I need to listen to a wonderful podcast for encouragement and empowerment. But I love this conversation, and thank you guys, and I'm safe, and thank you so much for all your prayers. I just had a friend send me from California a group of names of people who are praying for me, and that makes me feel so good. All my friends that I left back in Santa Barbara, California area, but I really appreciate that. And thank you so much, David. Thank you, Tara. You guys are a really good vibration. The Beatles, the Beach Boys, right? The good vibe. Yeah, big and a good vibration. Great time. We always got to put a song in there. All right. Thanks so much.
Oh, I love it, Chef Andy. It's so funny because about a month ago, I went to go see the Beach Boys with my nephew, who is 25. I'm 42. So, and there was people of all walks of life, all ages, jamming out to the Beach Boys. And it just, as soon as you started singing that, it put me, I grew up on the Beach Boys. So yes, I am all about, I love good vibrations. Anywho, I am not a singer, but I will absolutely sing along like I can carry a tune in the bucket. But Chef Andy, you hit on a couple of things there that just, absolutely are spot on. And it's that kind of understanding the energy of the day. Some of us are extremely productive in the morning. Some of us are extremely productive in the night. Our society is, it's no stranger. They send everybody to school. School starts around 7:30, 8 o'clock in the morning. School gets out between 3:30 and 4 o'clock in the afternoon. You got a lunch break. You got a recess in the morning, recess in the afternoon. And that is what they are, the production of your day. And as we go into our work life after school, that 5, time frame is not always the best production for people. Some people are extremely productive from 2 a.m. To 3 a.m. to 10 a.m. Some people are, you put them in pocket from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. or 7 p.m. They're just rock and rolling. And then you have other people like David, who's a night owl, who, he gets rocking and rolling about 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening, and he's rolling to 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and so it's just, what works for you. And I think as a society, I know, because I see it happening. 2020, the pandemic really shifted this. It really shifted the conversation around people having more ability to have a say in their production schedule. We were no longer forced to be in an office from 8 to 5. It was kind of like work from home. Oh, you like to work in the evenings? Okay, great. You don't have to, there's no reason for you to be in pocket from 8 to 5. You want to work 5 to 8 or 5 to 3 o'clock in the morning, go ahead if that's what works for you. And so it just comes down the pipeline, Chef Andy, is awareness. And you talked about it from, the transcendentals conversation and that gentleman who, in his book, where it is that total self-awareness, being aware of who you're being aware of what your circumstances, meaning your surroundings are, being aware of your body and how it speaks to you. A lot of times, we don't understand, all of a sudden I have a headache, or all of a sudden I feel a lot of tension in my chest and my neck, or I'm low battery right now, like you were talking about, I'm out of energy right now. What is it for me to do? Is a 10-minute cat nap? Do I get up and go for a walk? What is it that rejuvenates that battery so that way you can, be back into your creative being and creative state? And so I greatly appreciate you, Chef Andy. I'm so glad to hear that you are not in the direct path and that you moved to higher ground, as they would say, and that everybody's, reached out and keeping up with you. Again, all of our thoughts and prayers and love and good vibrations are headed out to the East Coast, really right now, to Florida and the East Coast, all those that have been affected by the 2 hurricanes that come through.
North Carolina. Yeah,
North Carolina especially. David and I are no strangers. We've been through many hurricanes, and we know that there's a level of, okay, we can deal with this, or okay, we got to get the heck out of Dodge.
And a lot of the times people think that they can make it, and unfortunately, it gets to the point where it's too late. I'll never forget, that hurricane that we were sitting at the house just hoping and praying that, no more water came over. And that was literally, what hurricane was that?
I don't remember what that one was. About 6 years ago or so. And it was when we moved into our new house, and we had flood control up, basically. So that way we were sweeping water to the other side of the street into the drain ditch, so our side of the street wouldn't flood. And it's those things, we totally understand. But we want to welcome everybody who's in here. We want to, share with you guys that we have something really special in the kitchen. We cooking up.
Yeah.
Chef Andy's gonna love that analogy. But next week, next Tuesday, we're going to have an amazing conversation around holiday sales. It is time to get your holiday, marketing plan in place. And so we are actually put together an amazing conversation to be able to bring forth to you guys, so everybody can start getting their mind wrapped around how to build a proper marketing plan. And when I say proper, it's more on the fact of how to build an effective marketing plan for your holiday sales, so that way you can boost your revenue. What you got, Mr. Jones?
And so we want you guys to come and join us for our masterclass with Hello LLC Holiday Sale Masterclass. And you're going to be able to join us live in Metaverse. And you're going to be able to join us from your cell phone, laptop, iPad, or if you do have the VR headsets, on November 2nd and November 9th, because we know sometimes one weekend might not work, but another weekend does. So we want you to come and join us. And all this is for $27.
That's it.
You can join us for this amazing masterclass where we're going to have tips, we're going to have tricks, we're going to show you, we're going to teach you. And if you want to extend it to where we actually do it for you, there's options for you as well where you can join our Pivot membership.
We got the done for you system.
Yeah, you can join our Pivot membership, and that also gets you into our actual masterclass, or you also can get some extensive, and membership access to where we can actually build out some of the things for you. And then the greatest thing about this is that when you do join our masterclass, you remember when you have the old QVC and your mama was shopping till she could drop on that bad boy. Ooh, I'm gonna get this for auntie. Ooh, I'm gonna get this for your uncle. Ooh, I'm gonna get this for your daddy. And they would just have a whole day sitting in front of the TV. Well, my friends, we're bringing that back even more in
Metaverse
3D
style.
and on all these social platforms as well, to where you that join us on this actual masterclass, we're going to actually showcase your business as well. And so not only are you going to have access to this amazing information, you're also going to be able to showcase your holiday sales in this QVC show that we're going to be having on the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so you don't have to worry about it. And then we're going to play it throughout the entire holidays. So this is a great opportunity for you to be able to showcase your business, people to know about your business. You all know what we say. Branding, right, is people continuously knowing that you're in business, and marketing is for people to know what you do. And this is a great opportunity for you to market your business and for you to brand your business in the 2D and move into the 3D. And so come and join our holiday sales masterclass once again, November 9th. You can get your tickets right now in our Biz in the Box. That is more than a website. It is our smart link. And you can go to Hello LLC.io and just scroll down just one little swipe, and you'll see a big old button that says Holiday Sales Masterclass. And come on down and join us and figure out.
And did you know it's only $27? And last time I went to a fast foods restaurant, it was $18 just for a hamburger and fries and a drink. So look,
you got some cookies in that too, player.
Well, maybe if you don't tell nobody. Anywho, at the end of the day, guys, we made this to where it was super inexpensive, so that way you guys can get in and be a part of it, and just be able to get that. And again, if you're like, I want to learn the information, but I'd rather have you do it for me, we can do that too.
Yes, and
this is what we do.
Yes, and so definitely get your tickets. Come and join us. You can join us in the 2D way, right? You can join us in the 3D way, but we want you to come and join us so you can learn, you can leverage, and you can monetize your business, because we're going to have so many ideas that you can utilize for this holidays, and then you can use throughout the year as we continue to monetize your business and not utilize your time. Because if you don't know, time is our only competition. So that should be your competition, and only competition as well, as we move into this abundance way of living. And there's enough abundance for us all to be able to move to this global economy as we definitely pivot forward. So we definitely want to be able to thank you guys for joining us today and being a part of this amazing conversation where we talked about frequency of money, understanding the personal growth, understanding the healing from the old way, the old traditional way of thinking about money, that you got to trade your time for money, right? I make this much money an hour. I got to work this many hours. And so that way I can save for this and then I can get for that. No, manifest these things. Start raising your vibration. Start meditating. Start really having the relationship with yourself of energy, frequency, vibration, and then understanding business for success. And that takes you getting out of your old ways, your old traditional ways of thinking, and implementing new things into your brand, into your business, which is why we're having this amazing holiday sales, because we do not want you sitting on Thanksgiving Day, right, with gravy and dressing and greens rolling down your chin or on your shirt, and you knew you shouldn't have wore that white shirt, trying to look cute and adorable, and then you can be like, dang, I don't have a sale for my Black Friday. Dang, Monday shows up, I don't have a Cyber Monday sale. Dang, the holiday sales come around, I don't have any holiday sales going around. Dang, the New Year's is coming up, I don't have anything to launch for the New Year's. And so this is why we want to be able for you guys to come and join us for this amazing masterclass. We keep it easy, breezy, simple, right? Not anything over the head. And we're going to take your questions. This is going to be live. And guess what? You can come both weekends, where you can come the 2nd and digest the information. And then you come back the 9th and be like, hey, I got a question on this. How do I do this? How do I do that? And we want you guys to ask questions. So this is an interactive. This ain't nothing boring. This ain't nothing, oh, I'm tired of sitting here. It's not going to be too long whatsoever, because we understand your attention span ain't that long. Neither is ours. So we're going to make it quick, fast, and quick to the point to give you the information that you need.
You bet.
With that being said, love, do you have anything else you want to add on to today's conversation of brain candy and sweet treats for the soul?
Well, I just encourage everybody, as we have this conversation about the frequency of money, your frequency, who you're being, how things are showing up in your life. It is because you are attracting those things, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. They're showing up because of who you are being. And so when we all will stop and take a self-awareness of who we are being in the world, we will then see how the alignment will happen. The things that we want will come in. The things that we're not really wanting will kind of disappear because of our attention, our awareness, and that law of attraction. So with that said, you know the drill, Mr. Jones.
Love,
kindness,
integrity,
but most importantly,
commitment
and consistency.
And until next time, toodles! Talk to you guys later. Have an amazing day.